The Fantastic Four and Jurassic World Rebirth have dropped their first trailers. Tom Cruise posts a video behind the scenes hanging upside down from a plane. Henry Cavill's James Bond audition tape has been released. We got a new look at Avatar. Captain America Brave New World drops 3 clips. And The Last of Us drops some new stills. Let's get into this week's movie news.
What's up, movie friends? Welcome back to Raiders of the Lost podcast, the ultimate film and TV podcast, in another episode of Movie News. This is the weekly episode where we go through all of the industry news so you don't have to. James and I read all of the articles, we watched the trailers, so sit back, relax, and find out what's going on in the world of film and TV. And before we get into the box office, Captain America 4 dropping 3 clips. I don't think that's a good sign for tracking.
Not good news.
Not good news. We'll get into that later, but James, take it away with the box office.
First of all, Dogman, second time in a row. 2 weeks, number 1 at the box office, pulled in $14 million domestic. The biggest movie of the last 3 weeks so far, maybe the year.
Ever.
Of all time, Dogman.
It's on pace to beat Avatar.
Yeah,
Both Avatars combined.
Yeah, and Endgame. Hard Eyes, the new horror film, just dropped and opened to $10 million in its first domestic weekend.
Very good.
On a budget of $18 million.
Really?
Yeah.
It didn't look like it. You saw the film.
Yeah,
Did
I
you
saw
like
it. It's certainly a film. Love Hurts also opened. Huy Quan's first leading action role. Pulled in just $6 million at the domestic box office on a modest budget of around $20 million as well.
But lots of marketing on the budget.
Pretty big marketing campaign for that film. I mean, we got a chocolate cake.
Yeah, how was that? You broke it with a hammer?
It was fun. Yeah, it was like it was like, not a cake. It was a giant heart chocolate that you smash with the mallet, and inside are a bunch of candy hearts.
How satisfying was bashing it with the hammer?
So fun, man.
Was that fun?
Yeah, I took a video of it. It was a lot of fun.
He also said this will be his last action movie lead role.
Kihi?
Yeah.
I don't blame him. Maybe he doesn't want to get into a trope of just doing action
trope,
movies.
And also it's probably really tough physically at that age.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
I mean, he's been doing stunts for a while and choreography for a while. Next up, Companion, in its second weekend at the box office, pulled in $5 million at the domestic box office. Again, this movie had a budget of $8 million, marketing budget close to 30, so it's doing pretty well for its box office. And then Mufasa still making money.
Just go away.
Still in the top 5.
Go away,
$4
Mufasa.
million at the domestic box office. One of them days, still doing pretty well. $3 million in its third or fourth weekend. And then Mark Wahlberg and Mel Gibson's Flight Risk pulled in $2 million at the domestic box office. So pretty okay weekend. Not many big movies are coming out. We had a couple of new horror movies coming out. Hard Eyes, Love Hurts are the new releases. They did pretty solid. And then we also got news of Snow White's Tracking, which comes out March 21st. Mm-hmm. Disney's projecting $65 million for its opening domestic weekend, which is not a huge number for how big of that movie is.
Yeah, the estimate's a $400 million budget about. So that's definitely, I mean, it looks like it's going to be a front-loaded film. I doubt it makes great commissions on its third and fourth weekend. So I think they really need to open large around the world to make a profit, even try to break even on this film. So you definitely want with that budget to open with $100 million at least.
At least.
Yeah, and also it's Super Bowl weekend. Super Bowl is today. So it's also a reason why box office is down a bit because a lot of people watch the Super Bowl. They're staying at home or they're going over friends' houses. So less people are going to the cinema today on Sunday than they usually would. So that is Super Bowl. It's like a Super Bowl slump at the movie theaters.
It's an excellent point, Anthony.
Yes. Now, let's get into some fucking awesome trailers. We got some huge ones this week. Let's open with The Fantastic Four. The trailer from Marvel Studios debuted with an insane 202 million views in its first 24 hours, one of the biggest debuts ever for a Marvel trailer. Marvel Studios says none of the Fantastic Four posters were made with AI. We can talk about that in a little bit, even though there is fan backlash. Let me know your thoughts on the trailer, James.
The trailer's awesome, and like I've been predicting, this is going to be the most unique-looking Marvel film we've had in years. And the trailer's really solid. Didn't give away anything, really. It gave away powers. We saw a glimpse of, obviously, Invisible Woman powers, Johnny's powers, and the Thing. Little comical thing. I think that Marvel and these studios know exactly what they're doing because they're preparing their movies for memification, I think.
Yes.
Having the Thing in the kitchen cooking, they know that people are going to mash that up with the bear, and they
Get the
did.
fuck off my Expo line. Oh, did they?
Yeah,
Were there memes?
so many memes, so many videos
I gotta see
of
these.
the thing, or with the characters in the bear, because that's Eben Moss is the thing. So I think they know what they're doing, even when they're writing their scripts and teasers. Like, this is gonna be so funny. People are connected to the bear, which they did.
So they were like, "Can you write a cooking scene?" Yeah.
And the trailer looks awesome. Like I said, nothing was really given away. A little tease of Galactus from behind. And also what I like is they didn't show Mr. Fantastic's powers.
yes. Oh yeah. Nothing.
They just
No
showed
stretching.
him, doing some calculations, doing something with multiverse equations. And I like how they're going family-centric. This is Marvel's first family, basically. And I like the approach of like really hammering in the fact that these people are connected. They're a family. They're doing family dinner every Sunday.
Yeah.
It's really cool. I thought the trailer was awesome. Aesthetically, looks really great. I like the style. I like the the nods to the vintage clothing from the old comics, the wardrobe, their costumes,
The cars.
very retro feel.
Yeah.
And I think the trailer looks awesome. But also the posters, I think they know what they're doing.
Yeah.
I think this AI controversy with the posters, I think they purposely probably designed the posters to be picked apart
Really?
for marketing.
So people are talking about.
I think that's exactly what happened.
because it's like the posters is like you and I spotted it immediately. There are people with 3 fingers or 4 fingers in some of the images, and it's like and there's also a hand that looks like an AI. AI is bad at generating hands still. It's just one of the things it's always struggled with. And there are a couple of hands in the poster that they look like AI generated. But you're right, maybe it is something to spark conversation about the film.
I think so too. I think they purposely designed their posters to be picked apart because they know everything's going to get analyzed.
Yeah.
Every pixel is going to be looked at. There is a person holding a flag for the Fantastic Four with 4 fingers, but the thing has 4 fingers, so that could be a reference to him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And also there's someone's face is duplicated multiple times in the background.
Yeah.
Just one's out of focus, one's sharper. Some hands, like Anthony said, are just, they don't make any sense to this guy holding a camera, and his pinky is bigger than his pointer. It's this odd poster. But I can't help but think if they didn't use AI, that they knew that they would spark conversations with this.
There's
and
no-
also they
yeah.
did kind of design the lighting of some of the other posters till they look like the AI generated images you can do in a prompt.
There's no such thing as bad press, but any press is good press. So I think you might be onto something. I'm not sure, honestly. I mean, I don't know. I'm not sure. But I will say one of my favorite things about the trailer is it's clearly not an origin story. They're clearly the Fantastic Four the entire time of this film, and it looks like really the flashback to their mission, which got them the powers. It looks like it's mostly going to be vintage film stock footage of like a documentary style setup, and it doesn't look like we're going to get a sequence of them going on a mission and encountering the space stuff, whatever it is that gave them powers. So I like that it doesn't look like it's going to be, oh, we go on the mission, we get these powers. What are these powers? And then it's literally an hour of dealing with that, and then they fight the bad guy. That was all the problem with the 2 other first films, the one that came out recently and the first Fantastic Four film. It's fun in the first one, but playing around with the powers takes up so much story time, and then you get to fight Dr. Doom in the last 20 minutes, and it just doesn't work.
What do you mean vintage footage? What do you mean?
Because the film has a lot of film stock variations,
Yeah.
and different
Aspect ratio changes,
ratios.
yeah.
So it looks like there's going to be footage from their space launch that they'll show in the film.
No, yeah, but there's
Yeah.
clearly normal aspect ratio, normal camera used for inside the space
cockpit.
shuttle of Invisible. Like, remember, Mr. Fantastic's holding in the Invisible Woman, Sue Storm, while she's turning invisible.
Oh yeah.
So I don't think
I'm
that's
wrong.
accurate.
I'm
I
wrong.
think you're complete. Did you watch the trailer?
I did. It was 2 days ago.
I think that
It's warning.
I think they're clearly going to show the mission and gearing up, and
Okay,
then go,
maybe.
I don't know,
All
maybe
right.
not the opening of the movie, but I
yeah.
think they're going to show all that.
I will say it's great that they're not holding back on the campiness that comic books can have, especially. So you mentioned Galactus. We see the back of him, and they're not shying away from. He's like a giant floating head essentially, and I think that 10 years ago there'd be like no way audiences would accept that. It's too far out of the box. And so the other variations of Galactus, like the last one just being this giant basically galaxy storm cloud about to envelop Earth, like that, just it doesn't even look like the character. So I think that they've learned recently, stick to the comics. People love the comics, and try to emulate what they did in the actual pages.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the trailer looks great. Anthony might need a second rewatch, though.
I'll give it a clean second over.
Yeah. I think what you might be getting confused with is they dropped a teaser of vintage footage to tease the trailer.
I might
dropping.
have, just been thinking of that in
Yeah.
my head. It's a quick flashing trailer, you know? I watched it. Let's get it.
Let's talk about Jurassic World Rebirth.
Jurassic World.
Let's pivot so Anthony, gets back on track here. So we got the first trailer for Jurassic World, Rebirth,
Oh, yeah.
and it looks pretty great. Obviously, a lot of people are like, I'm a simple guy, man. Honestly, I see dinosaurs in the movie, I'm going to go to the theater. I'm going to see the movie.
Yeah, I mean, we saw 65.
So we got our first look at the mutant dinosaur in Jurassic World Rebirth, and it's designed and inspired by a mix of a T-Rex, a Rancor from Star Wars, and a Xenomorph. And so basically the plot of this movie is some scientists and probably nefarious corporate interests want to get dinosaur DNA from this island where it was a testing ground for experimentation and genetics for creating the dinosaurs. So it basically existed during Jurassic Park, but we just never knew about it until now. It's kind of pretty
Just
good.
like the clone.
It's a good way to. It's better than the clone
I
for
like
sure.
it. I like it.
And so Scarlett Johansson plays a mission leader who's gonna help a scientist go extract dinosaur DNA from the 3 largest dinosaurs on this island, where it seems like the final remaining dinosaurs are isolated from the rest of the world, and they have to extract it from eggs.
And Mahershala Ali looks to be playing the guide.
Yeah, exactly. So according to the filmmakers, Jurassic World Rebirth is going to lean into causing fear in the audience. This includes finally adapting a scene from Michael Crichton's Jurassic Park novel, where the team attempts to drift through a lagoon on a raft without waking a T-Rex, but obviously the T-Rex chases after them. So it's one of the best parts of the book if you ever read it, being chased by a T-Rex that's basically walking through the water coming for you. It's awesome. I think the trailer looks really good. It's in theaters on July 2nd, and I think people are maybe overanalyzing a little bit. Some people look like they love it. Some people think it looks a little cheesy. At the end of the day, it's a dinosaur movie. I think it looks really good. The action looks solid. Scarlett Johansson does kick a pterodactyl, which is
Right in the face.
in the wing.
In the wing.
She kicks its wing. I'm like, that's a pretty big animal. That's like
You're not going to kick a lion.
It's like kicking an elephant.
Yeah. An elephant with wings.
Yeah,
They're really
like,
big, yeah.
It's not,
You're going to break your leg.
So exactly, your leg's gonna snap. I think it looks fun. I think it looks awesome. Aesthetically, visuals are off the charts. I'm very excited about this film.
Did you catch the really great Jurassic Park nod from the original film?
Well, there's several.
With the banner.
Yeah.
I love the banner because look, Bailey is walking through the museum and there's a T-Rex bones skeleton, and then the banner for Jurassic Park is being lowered behind it, and it perfectly emulates the end of Jurassic Park after the T-Rex rescues them and fights off the raptors, and he just roars, and then the banner falls on behind it. I saw that and I was like, this movie looks like it's being made with a lot of love for the original film, and not even it has nothing. It looks like it's really separating itself from all the sequels, which is important.
And the banner,
and it looks just like it's just trying to harken back to what everyone loves about the first film.
And the banner falling represents people have lost interest in dinosaurs.
Great point.
So that's
How does that happen?
I guess like it's exciting stuff, but then you move on to the next new thing.
Yeah, you just scroll to the next TikTok
We're
video.
obsessed with new things.
Yeah.
Did you see the other nod to Jurassic Park, the original?
Tell me about it.
There's a character with a black shirt, long curly hair, and an open
way.
unbuttoned, and his shirt's unbuttoned.
Oh my god, I missed that.
Yeah,
That's
so
great.
not to, I think Ian Malcolm. That's what they're clearly doing there.
Yeah. It's me, Ian Malcolm's son.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, maybe it is. He's kind of tan with dark hair. It could be Ian Malcolm's son. Never know. Let's move on to Mickey 17. This movie's coming out very soon on March 7th in theaters. We got a new teaser trailer for Bong Joon-ho's film starring Robert Pattinson. And the marketing campaign is just going off the charts right now. Their Instagram account, their socials are just posting all kinds of cool new content, like almost every day. And I'm very excited about this film, to say the least. I can't wait to check it out in theaters. Just a month away. Exciting stuff.
Yeah, and I like the marketing team. They're about to really kick it into high gear. Right now, the film's projected to earn $20 million its opening weekend here in North America.
Oh, that's not great.
So it's not great, but the thing is, they could really rely on good word of mouth. It's in great reviews for the audiences to come in the second and third weeks, and it could do really well internationally. It's not sized up to be a huge Goliath, but like Companion last week we talked about, its projection for opening weekend was $5 million until their marketing went to crazy, and then it doubled its box office of $10 million for the opening weekend. So something similar could happen with Mickey 17, where people are mildly aware of the film, like general audiences, not movie fans, not like super film fans. So general audiences are mildly aware of it. The next month, they could really go nuts with the marketing, and I think they could push this film to make close to $40 million.
I think so too.
Yeah.
And it's Bong Joon-ho, Pattinson. I think in a couple weeks you're gonna be Steve Pattinson everywhere, all over your phones, all over the apps, all kinds of interviews and stuff.
It's tough to market a film. People are engaged with so many different forms of media and content, TV, reality, social media. So it's like hard to maintain their awareness of a project.
Well, I think that's a reality for non-massive IPs.
Yes,
It's not hard to do that with Batman.
True. Yeah, Batman
And Superman and the Fantastic Four,
but
202 million views on their trailer.
Yeah, but nobody's heard Mickey 17 unless you've read the novel. So, but anyone who's a diehard Bong Joon-ho fan will show up.
Did you watch the behind-the-scenes footage of Tom Cruise's stunt hanging off a biplane?
I watched it while salivating.
It's insane. So Macquarie is directing inside of a helicopter. There's some monitors in there. And was it him or was someone else was taking just smartphone footage of the monitors of Tom hanging upside down from a plane, and then the phone just tilts and pans right out the window, and you see Tom hanging from the plane in the air.
It's insane.
It's freaking nuts.
It's unbelievable.
It's a 62-year-old man.
I love to seeing how Macquarie's just like, he's been through enough of this where he doesn't get super crazy scared anymore, I think, but he's just like chilling in a helicopter giving directions, and then Tom is like wired into a fucking plane, a propeller plane, over the land, and it's just unbelievable, and it looks insane. And the only thing they're gonna CGI out is the wires on him. The rest of the image is gonna be untouched.
Shockingly cool.
That's what I love about them. Macquarie, they barely even change anything, even color grading wise, especially with the exterior stunts. It's just like I feel like they do a great job of making it feel real without even changing the color grading too much, just making it feel like immersive, like the helicopter chase, things like that. I think they do an excellent job with the post production on those scenes.
Yeah, I mean, it's color graded, but it looks good.
It's not like hyper stylized to throw you out of it.
It's just Mission Impossible. Mission Impossible has never been hyper stylized.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess Mission Impossible 3 is very high contrasty, but yeah, they've never gone crazy with like
I would say the
color specific.
First
color
one's
grade.
the most stylish, I would argue.
Color wise,
Not color wise, but aesthetically, the way it's filmed.
nah, like 4 and 5 are very stylish.
I disagree.
Dude, you watch them again.
We know what the sexiest one is, though.
I mean, which one?
Number 2.
It's pretty,
That Spanish
it's pretty
guitar.
hot. Yeah.
All right, let's take it away with some Henry Cavill news. We all know that he was in the running to play James Bond for Casino Royale all the way back in 2005. And he was the number 2 option. However, Daniel Craig won it, and he was perfect for the role. They finally released, I don't know who dropped it, Henry Cavill's 7-minute long audition for James Bond. He was 22 years old. 22 years old when he auditioned, and I did not look like that when I was 22. I'll tell you that. I still don't look like that. And it's really great. And Martin Campbell, the director, said that he was tremendous in the audition, but they ultimately went with Craig because Henry Cavill was so young. But it was really before anyone knew who Cavill was. His biggest project up to that point was playing the son in Monte Cristo, the Guy Pearce, Jim Caviezel film.
Was the Tudors even happening at that time yet?
I don't believe. No, I think the Tudors was in the late 2000s. And so he got the Tudors, and then he got Immortals, and then he became a film star with Superman, obviously. But it's really good. It's really cool to see the audition and see him at such a young age. But, man, I mean, it would have been really interesting to see him. Because by the time the film came out, where they actually filmed the movie, he probably would have been 24. You know, this is auditioning before a giant film. It takes a while to get that in the up and running, and he would have been under 40, I think, by the time they finished the franchise with him. But it's really interesting to see like an alternate world where Cavill would have been Bond.
It's got a great face.
Honestly, if he was 5 years older, they probably would have went with him.
Yeah, maybe it was also he wasn't in much stuff. Maybe they were afraid that people wouldn't know who he was. But man, what a good looking guy at 22. Jesus, not us, man.
That's a man.
Did you see the Final Destination Bloodlines trailer?
I sure did.
So they finally dropped it. This movie shot quick. And this is a reboot of the franchise, all new characters, but Death is back. And this trailer was pretty cool because it was kind of just like a clip of a scene. It was a trailer of a scene in a lot of ways about this guy who's a tattoo artist, and then we see him becoming the first victim of death that's been released for this movie. This is probably, I'm guessing, the opening scene of the film. probably, because usually
Something.
it could be, or he doesn't seem like a main character to me, so it seems like probably the
He doesn't have
opening.
main character energy.
No, no main character energy, but it's pretty crazy. It's gruesome. It's pretty hardcore. This trailer, he's got this nose piercing that gets stuck on a chain from a hanging ceiling fan that connects to his nose, and he has to try to keep. It's pulling him up in the air like a noose around his nose. It's crazy, but I don't want to spoil
Nasty.
what happens to him. But death comes for him.
It was a little too early in the morning to watch this for me, I gotta say. I was like eating breakfast as I watched it.
I liked how the filmmaking sort of personifies death with this sort of Day of the Dead skeleton guy, like this little statue.
Sure.
And it keeps cutting to that, sort of like this is death, like that's the visualization of death. It was kind of cool. I thought the trailer was pretty good.
I forgot, I forgot that this movie, essentially, the franchise, the concept is like death sets booby traps.
Yeah.
It's great. It's really clever.
Death is Kevin McAllister.
Yeah, legit. Like a series of contraptions and chance encounters and odd occurrences that just all culminate in someone's death. There's a reason why the first film was such a big hit and they made so many movies. It's a fun concept.
They made 5.
Yeah, so many movies, but I still, if I drive behind a large truck carrying a load of thick logs, I pass that thing. I will never drive behind that thing. I never do. But it looks like, honestly, kind of like a return to form. I'm not expecting anything crazy from this film, but it just to make it exciting. It doesn't have to be an unbelievable story, but I think this could be a really fun popcorn flick for this year.
I think it's going to be a huge hit, honestly, because everyone knows the name Final Destination.
Great
It's
name,
been a
too.
while since
Yeah.
they've had one of these movies. If they do a good job with the story, just go back to the original, the blueprints. They're going to make the same movie again. It's about a main character. I believe it's a female lead, this one, who's having visions of her family dying, and she goes back to try to find the one person who can help her stop it, basically.
And also, if you think about it, the audience for the original film, they're all in their 30s and 40s.
Yeah, that's us.
People who go to the movies. So
I'll see this fucking movie.
I'll see it. I'll see that fucking thing.
I see like almost every horror movie that comes up. Did you see the new look at Avatar?
Yeah.
We got our first look at one of the characters in the new film in Avatar 3, Fire and Ash. We got a look at Palak, a chieftain of the Wind Traders in Fire and Ash. It's concept art, and it's shocking that this is not real. The wardrobe, the detail, and the fabric, I couldn't believe it's not a real wardrobe. It's insane.
And I love the clothing because it feels like it captures every tonal color of fire.
Yeah.
Everything from the yellows to the reds.
They're not a red one.
Oh, he's not a red one?
He's a Wind Trader.
He's a Wind Trader.
If you were listening, I said Wind Trader twice. Wind tribe. So they deal with wind.
Red wind. Well, the red contrasts really well with the blue skin tone.
Sure, yeah.
It pops.
But it honestly looks like a being just stood for a still photo.
Yeah.
It's insane how good the CGI animation is.
I will say though, I was like, when I saw the image, I didn't realize it was concept art till you just said it.
Yeah, right?
Because I was like, oh, okay. It looks great for concept art. You never see it that good.
Oh, like a real avatar stood for a photo. We also got a great look at some concept art for naval battles. And according to the team of Avatar Fire and Ash, a new airborne and waterborne battle for the ages will take place that will make the end of The Way of Water look like nothing but a skirmish.
That was a pretty big ending, too. I mean, blew up that fucking tanker.
Holy crap, man.
All right, let's look at some new images for The Last of Us Season 2. Some really great shots of Pedro Pascal, Bella Ramsey, and young Mazzino in this season. Also, a new look at Abby's crew in Season 2. I think these look great. I love getting back to these images of, what's the town called?
Jackson.
Jackson. There's a lot of that, and like just seeing the two of them sitting at the bar in Jackson. I think it really feels like the video game, and they're capturing the tone and the aesthetic really well. I'm looking forward to seeing what they have cooking up.
Yeah, and I liked seeing Abby's crew. Mm-hmm. We have, obviously, Caitlin Dever as Abby. Now we have Danny Ramirez as Manny. And he's been busy. Yeah. Tati Gabrielle as Nora, Ariel Barrer as Mel, and then Spencer Lord as Owen. I was wondering who's going to be Owen because Owen's a big character in Season 2. And The Last of Us 2 will be, they're saying, at least 2 seasons of television.
And again, no aquarium yet.
Well, I'm sure we'll get there.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, they're not teasing much.
I know. I'm saying they're keeping a lot under wraps. We haven't seen anything about an aquarium in any of the images they've released or trailers. So I think they're really doing a good job saving a lot of the story for anyone who hasn't played the games.
And then Jesse, played by young Mazzino, I was so curious to get a look at him and his character because he has a lot to do in this upcoming season for sure. So I liked getting a new look. Also, Neil Druckmann had some comments about Abby in this show. In the game, she's famously known for being massive and yoked for specific moments in the game. You know, she builds herself into a killing machine after a terrible thing happens to her. Mm-hmm. But there are sequences in the game where she's not huge and not massive, but the motivation of what happens to her causes her to become a killing machine, basically. And obviously, there's a lot of backlash about how jacked her delts are. It's a game, is what it is. Who cares? But Neil Druckmann says that they didn't have Caitlin Dever bulk up to play Abby in The Last of Us Season 2. He says that doesn't play as big of a role in this version of the story. It's more about the drama. So pros and cons there. I would have liked to see a physical transformation because of what Abby goes through at some point. You know, I think they could have hid that pretty well. But, you know, it's tough to put on muscle in a short period of time because she just got cast a couple months before they started filming.
Yeah.
But, and also, it shows me maybe there'll be less action than what Abby's known for in the game, if that makes sense. Because she is a massive killing machine. She's a brute force. That's her style of killing in the game. She is a machine versus Ellie, who's more of a skilled fighter with her weaponry as well as more quick, more agile. Abby's a brute. Abby's a punching you in the face will knock you the fuck out.
I really hope, I mean, I know they're saying that, but I do hope there's more action because there are some really incredible action sequences in the game. Like Abby's first major sequence that you play with her as the caravan journey. Like that's a crazy shootout action sequence that would be really exciting to see on the screen. We'll see. I mean, that would be a huge budget to make that.
I'm guessing, so maybe action was the wrong word to say. I guess physical fighting. I don't know.
Physical force.
So I'm guessing they'll still make her a killing machine, but with weaponry, I'm guessing.
Gotcha.
You know?
Yeah.
But I mean, Abby is a brute force. That's the thing with her character that people get so upset about.
I think it's great that they're doing 2 seasons for an adaptation of the second game because I think it would have improved the first season if it was 2-season adaptation of the first game.
That was our biggest complaint.
Yeah, that was our really only main complaint about the film is like we wish it was they had done the 16 hours to tell the story on screen rather than an 8-hour story.
No, they did. They told the story in 6 hours.
Six. Oh shit!
Because
right.
one episode was
on the DLC.
Not part of, well, one was the DLC.
Yeah.
No Return. But then the character with
Nick Offerman's character.
Offerman, Tommy.
Yeah.
His whole story.
Right.
That doesn't take place in the game.
So yeah, they did 6 hours.
They did 6 hours of an entire game.
That's right.
That was my biggest qualm with the show.
I think 2 seasons is the way to go, and they clearly thought that too. That's why they're doing 2 seasons for this adaptation.
They cruised through season 1. It's way too fast.
They ran through it like a clicker.
Yeah.
But looking forward to it. Something that we're gonna see, but we're not sure. I mean, Captain America: Brave New World they just released 3 clips from the film. Now
in like 3 days.
Yeah, in 3 days. This is clearly a move to get more online traction, get more people talking about it, get more people aware of the film's release coming up this Valentine's Day next week. So, I mean, I personally never watch clips. I stopped watching clips for movies. They've been releasing clips for movies for years. It's always been a thing, but I feel like it's less and less common nowadays. And if they do it, it'll be like 1 clip just to save more for the audience to go see it. However, releasing 3 clips, I think, is a sign that they're struggling to get traction online and interest of people, and their projections probably seem pretty low. So they're trying to amp up more interest in the film.
And it honestly did the opposite. I think it had the opposite effect.
I didn't watch any of the
trailer?
clips.
The clips aren't great.
I'm saving it just to see the film.
There's a one clip that's a fight scene with Cap and some guy in a church, and then it's cross-cutting with Danny Ramirez's character who takes out a couple of guys in the streets. But it didn't look incredible, and it also harkens back to there's nothing serious in these movies. Just everything ends with a joke and quips.
Oh, man.
So there's a bunch of quips. Both scenes are just constantly quippy.
Oh, my God.
And then there's a scene of Harrison Ford as the president on Air Force One working out on a Peloton. That scene kind of cringy, Didn't look great.
Uh-huh.
And then there was another clip, some more action stuff. It looked okay. I think these clips are hurting, honestly, the box office because they're not that impressive. They really aren't.
You're not that guy.
And
So do you think that Peloton is an ad placement in there?
100%. 100%.
It sounds like it was.
So these clips did not get me excited. I was already excited to see the movie. I didn't need clips, but the clips have made me realize, oh, is this what this whole movie's going to be like?
Yeah.
And
on top of that, the trailers are really just like the action scenes.
Well, the trailer's great. I like the trailer a lot. Every time I see it in theaters, I'm like, this movie looks fucking sick. But these clips tell me a completely different story in a lot of ways. Seeing it next week, I'm still optimistic. I'm going to remain optimistic. But, you know, after these clips, my expectations for this film aren't super high anymore. And we'll see. But
Modest
when a movie,
expectations.
when a studio does this, when they drop clips from their very valuable commodity for the internet to see at this rate, it's not good news.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, it's obviously going to make some money for sure, but it does not seem like it'll make probably the $1 billion it needs.
Yeah, it needs to come close to a bill.
So it looks like it might top out. My prediction for total box office is 500 million global box office. Is my prediction.
Yeah, it'll probably hit that.
Yeah.
But that's still, they're going to be in the red. They're going
Very
to
much
lose a lot of money
Very
on that.
much so, yeah. All right, let's talk about something really interesting. I really do think that studios listen to our podcast. The stories keep coming out of stuff that we always talk about. Amazon and MGM are working towards developing an entire international distribution outfit for their films. So they want to release more of their films theatrically all over the world. And so they've also recently been pairing up with domestic distributors like Lionsgate to release their films here. And now they're working on building out an entire infrastructure to release films they make in theaters. Because they say, now this sounds oddly very familiar to what James and I always talk about. They say it will maximize their revenue and basically help whatever the IP or property is over time and increase its value. To drop it in theaters first and then put it on Amazon.
Who would have thought?
I mean, we've only been saying that since COVID shut down.
It's only been the norm for
Yeah.
85 years.
Yeah. It's 4 years of saying this. I mean, it's the right move. I mean, that's what we've been saying they should be doing. Make your movies are more valuable if people go see it in the theater, have an experience. They remember that better, especially if they liked it. They're going to keep rewatching that movie for the rest of their lives.
If it's good. But it
Yeah.
also makes them, obviously, I think, put more effort into making great films again.
And you can also, with a good box office release, pay for the film with box office receipts, and then it goes on your platform. It's a win-win.
Win-win-win. Win-win-win.
Win-win.
Speaking of wins, the Critics' Choice Awards just happened the other night.
Nice segue.
And Amelia Perez and Wicked tied for 3 wins. Amelia won Best International Feature. Anora won Best Feature. So it's interesting because, you know, the Oscars are less than a month away, and this kind of is an interesting look at possible wins going forward. So,
But also, this was voted. They voted on these before all the news came out.
gotcha.
Yeah.
It was just interesting. And the director of Amelia Perez won Best Director.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Really? Well, yeah. It was before all the press came out. So, Oscar voting starts next week. From the 12th to the 18th is when votes will be cast.
Interesting.
So that will be the real change. I think that the Oscar wins will be very different from any of the other wins that we've seen in other institutions. All right, next up, we got some news about The Weeknd, Abel Tesfay's new film starring Barry Keoghan himself and Jenna Ortega. I thought this was a trailer for like a music video film, but it looks like a proper film. And it follows a musician plagued by insomnia who gets pulled into an odyssey with a stranger who begins to unravel his existence. This looks like a trippy version of The King of Comedy. Ortega looks to be playing an obsessive fan who holds Tesfaye hostage for some nefarious reasons. It looks like Barry Keoghan either plays his manager or like a good friend of his. And The Weeknd is clearly playing the lead. This film's called Hurry Up Tomorrow. From director Trey Edward Schultz, who previously made Waves and a couple of other films. It looks good visually. I'm just not sure. It looked intriguing. Well shot.
Let's talk about Black Phone 2. the sequel to the horror hit from 2022. Scott Derrickson calls The Black Phone to a high school coming-of-age movie. And I think what's interesting is Ethan Hawke's coming back as the grabber. And then also Mason Thames coming back as the main character. He plays the lead boy in the first film. And I think that's smart. You know, I think some horror movies and horror IPs, when they start going their second sequel or their second film, they get all new characters. Obviously, sometimes you have to do that if you kill everyone off. But I think it's smart to keep it with him and keep that story connected to the original film.
Sure.
And according to Derrickson, he said, I realized that if I made a big movie after The Black Phone, which is The Gorge, by the time I finished it, all those kids would be in high school. So what I really wanted to do and what I did was I shot a high school coming-of-age movie in the same way that the first one was a middle school coming-of-age movie. So pretty smart.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's clever.
I'm curious to see how they bring Ethan Hawke back. Now, keep in mind...
Spoilers!
Keep in mind, the first film obviously shows that your character can communicate with ghosts. So it might be something like that.
I think so. Supernatural.
Maybe it'll be
sure.
like Hannibal Lecter. He phones into Ethan Hawke to help track down a new killer. Why not? I like that idea. All right, next up, Ben Affleck is moving forward with his Netflix kidnapping thriller Animals, which he will direct. Previously, Matt Damon was going to star in this, but he had to drop out. So now Ben Affleck will be taking on the title role. Gillian Anderson has also joined the cast. And, I mean, Ben's an awesome director. Whatever he makes, we're going to be there for.
Heck yeah, I'm excited about this. Next up, Disney Plus has announced that they've lost 700,000 subscribers.
Oh, my God.
So far in quarter one of 2025. So far. And it's only been a month.
Holy shit.
700,000 subs gone.
Damn.
That's a lot of views.
Yeah. Well, they need to start making better content for subscribers to want to stay.
True.
You know what I mean? Nah, I mean, that's not good. All right, next up, Megan 2.0 released its little teaser set to Chappell Rowan's Phenomenon. This will also be, they will have a Super Bowl trailer today, the day of the Super Bowl, so we'll get a better look at the film. This is just a little cute tease of Megan dancing with a purple light behind her, doing her dance moves and then a flip.
Did you miss me?
But this film knows what its audience is. It's like this bitch is back. It's like they know who their audience is and they're honing in on who liked the first film. And I think they're gearing everything from the film's narrative for the sequel as well as the marketing campaign towards their audience that they now are aware of who they are.
I'd like to see this movie go rated R. I don't know if it will.
No way.
I think that's what held Megan back, the first film. If they went R, I think it would have been a lot better. But it's fine. It's a solid movie, solid horror movie. It was very successful.
Highly
What
successful.
was it, like 150 mil box office? It's huge.
Something like that.
Huge box
Yeah,
office.
Tiny budget.
So this is going to make a ton of money for Blumhouse and Universal. Let's talk about the death of Robin Hood. Bill Skarsgård has just been cast in Michael Ceransky's new film, starring Hugh Jackman and Jodie Comer. The film follows Robin Hood grappling with his past after a life of crime whilst in the hands of a mysterious woman after being injured.
It's like The English Patient,
Yeah.
but Robin Hood. Is Sarnowski the guy who did A Quiet Place? Yeah, he did A Quiet Place day one. He's a good director. I'm looking forward to it. I love Pig.
He's awesome. Yeah,
I love Pig.
he's a fantastic director.
Next up, some really interesting news. So we've previously reported Mitchell Gondry and Pharrell Williams were working on another biopic of Pharrell Williams' childhood. They've finished production and have been in the editing room. However, they have canceled the project and shut it down during post-production, saying the movie just doesn't live up to the expectations they had, and they said they couldn't get a cut that eventually they were satisfied with. And so they've canceled the entire thing. And apparently this had a ton of A-listers as cameos in the film, and they've just completely canceled the whole project entirely.
I wonder if it's a combination of maybe the movie just didn't come out very well.
Yeah.
Also mixed with, I know Pharrell had the Lego movie recently that didn't do very well either. So, I mean, it's kind of close. It's not like this is a biopic, but it's very much inspired by his life. So 2 Pharrell Williams movies in the same 6 months.
That's what we said when they announced it. We were like, they just did a biopic of him. So
Yeah.
to do another one like kind of almost in the same even release it in the same 12-month stretch.
And maybe it just didn't come out very well. Maybe there's a lot of issues. Maybe, who knows? There's got to be some inside story. But to just cancel a movie after you've shot it, the studio realizes they're not going to make any money off this, so let's just cancel the whole thing.
Yeah, and also maybe just didn't turn out well, because it's Pharrell and Gondry who released the statements saying that's just not what we hoped it would have been.
What a bummer to, make a movie, but you can't release it or finish it, That's sad.
That's like the Sudeikis film. Oh, no, Will Forte film. Acme versus...
Well, that movie's done.
Yeah, that they just shelved.
Yeah.
Acme versus something. It was going to be the courtroom drama
it's like,
comedy.
Isn't it Coyote versus something?
Something, yeah. Yeah, it's not happening. Anyways.
Let's talk about...
Some fun casting.
Daniel Radcliffe and Lucas Hedges are going to star together in a Vietnam War thriller called Trust the Man. The film follows an Army intelligence officer assigned to investigate a soldier with a mysterious past, and both men begin to develop an uncontrollable connection.
I think that Lucas Hedges is a really, really underappreciated actor. He's fantastic. He's been doing... I think his career is really, really fascinating. He's been doing so many small-scale independent films and working with great directors. And I think he's been building a pedigree of a really solid career for being so young. And then he seems like a great pairing with Radcliffe.
Who do you think will be the intelligence officer, and who do you think will be the soldier with the mysterious past?
I'd say Hedges would be the soldier. He plays really great, like troubled, broken interior.
So isn't Daniel.
That's true. I
mean, he plays troubled, broken characters all the time.
Yeah, he does.
He got his bread and butter doing that.
He played a dead guy once.
He got $200 million for doing that for 8 years.
He was their friend.
A troubled, broken character. That's a day walk for him.
Next up, we have an announcement for a new Johnny Depp movie from director Mark Webb. It's called Day Drinker.
Oh, Mark Webb hasn't made a movie in a while, right?
Well, Snow White. He's been working on for the last 2 years.
Oh, he's been directing Snow White?
Yeah, he's been. That's why he's been so delayed. The reshoots on that film.
He's directing Snow White? I didn't know that.
Yeah, Mark Webb's directing Snow White. He's probably been literally working on it for probably 3 years now, if you consider the shoots. Actually, maybe 4 years.
Wow, Mark Webb, Snow White. Holy crap.
Imagine, since they apparently reshot the film, it probably doubled his schedule on the production.
Probably.
If you think about it. Because those huge films take so much time for pre-production, putting it all together, and then shooting it, and then, we need to reshoot the movie and rewrite it. It probably was 2 years of redoing the movie.
Yeah, well, also, it's so much visual effects.
So much visual effects. So it's a huge commitment to do that film.
Holy crap.
Yeah, but he's the director behind it.
I was wondering where he's been.
He's probably getting paid fine.
Oh, he's getting paid. Snow White movie, he's probably getting 10.
Yeah, at least. And then, so this stars Johnny Depp, Madeline Klein, and Penelope Cruz. And the film follows a cruise ship bartender who meets a mysterious day drinker, and both become embroiled in a criminal mystery. Day drinker.
So I just looked up. Webb's been doing a bunch of TV.
Yeah, he directed a few pilots and is producer on a few TV shows.
Yeah, so after Amazing Spider-Man 2, I was curious. He did Limitless, the TV show. He directed Gifted, the Chris Evans movie. The Only Boy in New York he directed as well. I never saw that. So he's been doing indie stuff in TV.
That's the Anton Yelchin film?
Which one?
The Only Boy in New York?
No. This is the guy Callum Turner.
Oh,
2017.
Gotcha.
Anton's been gone for like 10
Sorry,
years.
the one with the other actors.
The guy who just got engaged to Dua Lipa.
The Anton Yelchin film is The Only Living Boy in New York.
Gotcha.
That's what that's called. Oh yeah, Caleb's a handsome guy.
He's a good-looking guy. He got Dua.
Happy for him.
Let's talk about Matthew McConaughey though. We got our first look at the rivals of Amaziah King, starring with Matthew McConaughey in his first lead role in years. He hasn't started in movies since 2002. Just kidding. I was seeing if you were paying attention.
I was like, wait, what?
The crime thriller follows a man who oversees the premier honey-making operation in town, but everything he has built is soon threatened. Yeah, he's just been doing commercials and writing books and docs and stuff.
Yeah. And then the beekeeper shows up. Next up, Bad Boy has just been announced. Huy Quan and Lily Reinhart will star in the new horror movie Bad Boy from the producers of Longlegs. This film follows a woman trying to escape a deadly serial killer told from the perspective of the killer's dog.
I wonder if Kiki will be the serial killer, or is he going to voice the dog?
I've heard he's playing the serial killer, is what I've heard.
I mean, I hope so.
But it could be the dog. I mean, that would be a fun role.
Yeah, but I'd like to see Ki-hee do something
Dark.
out of the norm, doing something dark like a serial killer. I think that would be really cool.
I'm trying to place Lily Reinhart in my head. Who is this? The name's familiar. Okay, she was in Hustlers. Okay, I recognize her. I don't think I've seen anything she's in, but she's in a lot of stuff. Okay.
Hollywood acting sisters Kate Mara and Rooney Mara are going to star together in a movie. Werner Herzog's new film, Bucking Faster. The film is based on the true story of two inseparable twin sisters who live on the fringes of society.
Sounds just like our life.
Kind of.
We live on
Twin
we live
sisters.
on the fringes of society. Next up, Buffy. Sarah Michelle Gellar confirms they are developing Buffy, the Vampire Slayer sequel series. We will only make the show, quote, if we know we can do it right. And I will tell you that we are on the right path there.
They're going to make it either way. You know, they're always like,
They always say
that.
we want to get it right.
It's like, you guys,
you're going to fucking do it.
you guys are going to do it.
You already said you're going to do it. Like, this it's always, you're right. It's always like, we want to do it justice. It's like, no,
never
you just want to do it.
Oh, man. Let's talk about old pals. Brian Cox, Henry Winkler, Emma Roberts, and Evan Rachel Wood have been cast in Old Pals. The film follows comical opposites and recent widowers who are forced to become friends by their daughters.
Oh, cute. That's fun.
I bet it's going to be very funny.
Next up, AMC
The
Stubs.
fucking Fonz, man. Hey.
Some updates on AMC Stubs A-list. James and I are part of the A-list. I don't know if you are, but
Investors.
we're not. This is not an ad, but I recommend it. I've saved so much money by just doing this monthly membership. So tickets, the membership prices have increased to $26 per month, and even higher if you live in California or New York City. However, a new addition is you can now watch up to 4 films per week. Previously was you can watch up to 3 films per week. Now you can do 4 films. And also, I think another part of the package that works really well is it can be any kind of screening. It could be IMAX, it can be Dolby, it can be whatever. So in Prime, it doesn't have to just be like the lower tier cinema theaters. You can see it at any kind of screen, which I think is because you get so much bang for your buck if you see a lot of IMAX movies, which
Sure
are
do.
like $28 per ticket. That's 1 month's membership. And that's just if you see that, and then any other movie you see that week is free, basically. Especially if you get it just a cup of water with me. Spend very little money at the theaters.
All right, we got a new teaser for Jack Quaid's other upcoming film, Novocaine, as a man who can't feel any pain and must save his girlfriend who's been kidnapped, in theaters on March 14th. This looks like a lot of fun.
What a spring.
I know, he's killing it.
Yeah, he's doing great.
Standing out as a new leading man.
And finally, we have the first look and trailer at Smurfs. This movie starring Rihanna as Smurfette hits theaters July 18th. That's a good release date. July 18th. That's a meaty part of the schedule.
I mean, I wouldn't want to be Smurfs in that month.
I don't-
They're
yeah.
going to get demolished.
Yeah.
well, I guess there's no other kids. It's like the only other
The kids movie, yeah. So this movie looks cute. Looks like different. It's definitely different animation from any other Smurfs film. Looks similar to The Wild Robot, a blend of 2D with 3D animation. Looks pretty creative and a new look for it. And then again, like the other films, they are brought into live action world.
All right.
But it looks like Smurfette's definitely the lead of this movie.
Smurfette is the lead.
She's the boss bitch.
It's going to be a good for her movie. She's going to kill everyone at the end.
There's gonna be blue blood everywhere.
All right, and that's all we got for movie news.
Y'all need a pilot.
Quite a few topics today. We want to make this one pretty quick and short for you because the Super Bowl's tonight.
Yeah. Who you picking to win?
I don't care who wins.
I think the Chiefs will win.
I mean, the
Patrick's
Chiefs will
Patrick's
win.
a winner.
Chiefs will win, I think.
He's Tom Brady. He wins.
It is what it is. But, you know, a lot of people in America and around the world are going to be watching the Super Bowl. But if you're watching, look out for all of the crazy, cool trailers that are going to be dropping. There's going to be a bunch of new teasers, a bunch of new trailers. I think at least 12. So it's going to be a lot of fun to check those out.
And we'll be doing an entire episode on next week on Wednesday, breaking down all of the Super Bowl trailers. So it should be a fun time.
And tomorrow,
And maybe even the best commercials we could break down.
That'd be fun. And tomorrow we're doing an entire episode on A Complete Unknown. So if you're a
good
fan
episode.
of that film and you saw it, I'd recommend
What is this, a gig?
checking it out.
Is that a Bob Dylan song?
Yeah.
Checking it out.
Watch Raiders of the Lost podcast.
By the way, this has been James
On
all
Monday.
week since he saw the film. He's just been impersonating Bob Dylan all the time.
like a Raiders of the Lost podcast episode. All right, take care.
See you next time.